Hey folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we are going to work on a pair of earrings using the December Bargain Bead Box Earthen Elegance. Now, these became two-tone metal because one of the beads I wanted to use would not fit on my copper head pins, so I switched to some gold ones, which are specifically made for smaller hole beads. So, well, you can see as we go and work on it. Here are our bits and pieces we're going to use. As I've said, we are going to have to use some gold for two of the wires. And that's because I wanted to use these tiny little garnets. Let's see, do I have all of them on here that I wanted? Yeah, 9. And those are going to go in the middle on these 5 holes here. I needed something skinny because I didn't want them to be bashing into each other. So we're going to be using some little gold head pins for that portion. We have some little shields, our ear wires, and then all our odds and end beads here. Now, frankly, I think the first thing I'm going to do is put these little beads onto here because I don't want them to get lost in the works here because they are so tiny. So we will just work at getting those on here. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'm going to take these 2 that I have now got beads on and put them aside in the dish so that I don't have to worry about those beads getting lost or coming off. I'm also going to take half of the pieces here and move them over to there as well. Okay, so this is what we need for the one earring. I'm going to, like I said, finish putting these little tiny beads onto our wires here so that I don't knock them all over the place. Other than them needing a smaller wire than I was wanting to use on them, the biggest problem with these tiny ones is finding the hole so you can put them onto the wire. Okay, there's those 2 babies all wrapped up. So now we're going to take our other wires and we're going to start stringing up the other pieces. Now these 2 pieces are going to get turned into just being pieces of wire. In order to do that, I'm just going to sit here and cut the head off. Just like that. Now these 2 are wires. And one is going to go up at the top, up here, and one is going to come down here. So what we're going to do with this is I was just going to do a simple loop down here, but I think I might have enough room to do one with just a slight wrap in it. So we're going to get our pliers, go up and about and round, drop it down, and then bring it around like this. And we're going to bring our shield piece here through here. Then we will grab it with our first pair of pliers here, right where the loop comes together. And then we are going to take this second pair of pliers and we're going to give it at least 1 or 2 wraps. Now you can see this doesn't want to cooperate with me really well because it's pretty short. But that's why I'm doing it's just a continuous amount of tucks to get that in place there. And then, because it's now crooked and the tucks are a little bit high, can you see the gap right there? What I'm going to do is take my pliers and put the one point in the circular part, the other one just above where the wraps are, and slide that down just like so. And then I will even this out so that it's no longer crooked here with the wire. So just like so. The next step is to put the beads on here, and that's going to be I want this little guy on here first. So we're going to hang like so. And then we're going to wrap this one up. Now my original plan was to just hook it directly into here, but I'm thinking it might get a little bit work with the 5. So I'm thinking instead of doing that, we're going to simply wrap this up, and we'll use some small jump rings to put it in place. So we'll wrap this first one, bring her down and around. Now I've got it facing the same direction as the shield and these, because when we put the jump ring in, we want it to go so it hangs like so. The other ones won't make any difference because they don't have a definite front and back. This one does because of the shield on it. So let's get this pliers and wrap this one up. Okay, I think it's found the end of where it needs to be at, so we need to get our clippers out. We'll cut that baby, the rest of this little guy off. Tuck him in just a little bit. As you can see, we've got that tipping backwards, so we want to straighten it here, and then again here. So here we go. This is going to be our middle piece right here. And then our two little, these are going to go in the middle here, on either side, like so. And then when we wind these guys up, they're going to be the remainder. So how we're going to do these, we're going to do the bicone. This bead here, jasper, the melon, and the magma. Well, I think they said it was something about the coating. They called it magma. So then we'll do that again over here. This last one goes on the top. So we'll get all 4 of these all wrapped up, and then we'll get some jump rings and put them on in place. So, like I said, with these ones with no definite front and back, you can wrap them in any, you don't have to pay real close attention to whether you've got them wrapped in any particular way. Since we are not going to attach these directly on but use jump rings, we can just get our wraps done, and then we can carefully put these with their jump rings in place. Come on, stay out of the way, you. These are so tiny that the wraps are almost as wide as they are. Come on, baby, tuck in. Not sure how well I got that to tuck. It's better. So there's 2 pieces. Now we'll get the other 3 pieces done up, and then we'll get some jump rings and hook these in. Why are you hanging up there? Get back down where you belong. Okay, so we just put our pliers in, pull it around, drop it down, drop our plier down, bring our wire up, and even it up like a lollipop, just like so. Then we will grab this where it comes together and wrap it. Oop, get out of the way, garnet. There we go. This little guy is determined to be a problem. There's this side. And now the last two pieces. Put your pliers in, wrap it around, drop it down, bring her over and around, and then straighten this some for the lollipop shape. Let's just do both of these last two while we're at the same time. Put her in the bend into between the two, bring it around the top barrel, drop the bottom down, and bring them around. Like so. Now we'll just grab our pliers and get pulling these into place. Now, even though I usually use my pliers to wrap, you'll notice as I'm working that sometimes my fingernails and things get involved with what I'm doing because, well, I'm a picky wrapper. I don't care for messy wraps. I know there's a lot of people that like them. I am not one of them. So I'll be very honest with you and tell you if my wrap is not straight and clean enough for me, and I can't fix it to be the way I want it to be, then they will meet my flush cutters, and I'll start it over again. That looks pretty good. Okie dokie, here goes the other. Put it here, pull these over, start this baby with my fingers. Then I'll get my pliers, and I sometimes finish it with my fingers. These wires are soft enough, I probably could without it being a problem. But if it's a really stiff, like stainless steel, I won't do it with my fingers because then it becomes a mess. But this one is actually pretty soft, so I probably could. Okie dokie. Bring this one back some. And there are our sides. We just need to get some jump rings and put them in place. And then this piece is going to go up here. I am going to hardwire that in. Maybe I'll just do it right now. So what we're going to do is do our bend. This one I'm going to do the second to the smallest because we're going to have to go around this top piece right here. So put it in place, bring it around, drop these down, and bring these over, leaving a gap so that this can slide into here. Oop, come here. There we go, she's in place. So now I need to take my pliers and hold this down. And you'll notice that it slipped downward some, so we gotta move this and bring it. Come on, you. When it gets really short, like I said earlier, I will take it and sort of push it like I'm tucking, as opposed to trying to pull it with my pliers, because that's when you get that lovely snap as it goes sliding off your wire. So now So we will straighten this baby up some. And I usually do my straightening with my fingers. If it's a really stubborn one, I'll get my bell making pliers out, but in general it's my fingers. So then we drop this magma bead on here. And now, because we want our ear wire to go on now, our wire has to go in a loop like so instead of like this. So we line it up this way with this and bend this direction. Now we're going to go back to the smallest loop again. So up and over, drop her down, bring her around, get her shape correct, and then we're going to slide our ear wire on. Now, when you slide the ear wire on, when you have a definite front and back, you need to start with the ear wire backwards, because when it comes up and about, it will turn around. So now that we have that in, we'll push these wires back together. Start this one going around. Now I'm going to switch hands here. Grab my second pair of pliers, and we're going to wrap this baby up. And it slipped. See that slide? So I'm going to put my, I don't know if you can see it. There it is. See right here? I'm going to put my pliers in here. I'm going to touch the top of my other plier, go down below the wire with and just push it up into place. Come on, baby, trim off. And now tuck this into place here. And there is the top of our earring done. It looks like we got that pretty straight onto each other, so that's good. So next we need to get those jump rings so that we can hook these pieces on. So I am going to go and find some little copper jump rings. Which are right here. Dump a bunch out. And then we'll start putting these babies together. And you can work in any way you want, from side to side, from the middle to each side, when you're putting these things together. I'm going to put the middle one in first, since it's the only one that has a definite direction. So there we go. See, it's going to go like so. Now we'll put our tiny ones in. Now, as you can see, it's getting long with everything here. If you don't want it that long, you don't need to put as many beads here. You can leave this one off entirely, whatever works for you. Or you can hardwire these in, which was what my original plan was to do, but then I decided I don't want to. So all of those things would help shorten this earring up. So you get over there. No, I didn't hear that one snap. Oh, but it looks like it's pretty darn close, so that's fine. Now the other little guy. And lastly, our last bar here. As soon as we get this one on, this one earring will be done. My original plan when I was designing these was not to put the little garnets in the middle because I'm like, oh, they're going to be as close as those holes are, they're going to biff into each other. But then I remembered those tiny little guys and thought, oh, well, those will work. So there is our first earring finished. So now we just have to put the other one together. So let's set this aside over here. And then we'll get our things out and start on our second one. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut those heads off of these two. And since we don't do it until later, if we wanted to, we could put that top part together right now, which I may just do, because once it's done, it's not an issue anymore. It's just a simple little couple of wraps. Like I say, we went to the bigger one here for the bottom part. So we'll wrap that around, bring her down, drop her, and bring to like this. And I forgot to leave it open, so we will open it and slide this baby on. Now that we have it on, we'll push our wires back together. And then we'll take our other pair of pliers and wrap that bottom a couple of loops. Now this slid out, so we're going to have to fix it. I'll show you how to do that in just a moment. Cut this little tail off here. And tuck it in a little better. Now this is again that spot where I was saying if it slides, doesn't look like it slid as bad as I thought it did, but put your point in the loop like so, then get your other point, oops, sorry, get your other point above your wires and push down, and that'll straighten them up. Now this one didn't get tucked very well, so I need to tuck it too. And then it slid again. Then you need to make sure you're straight. Your wire is. So that looks relatively good, but not entirely. That's better. So then our magma bead goes on. And remember, this is where we want to make our loop be opposite of the other one. So we'll take it, face our wire to this side so we're looking straight at it, the loop, and then we'll put our pliers in and bend it towards us. Now we're back to this smaller loop. So put the pliers in, wrap her around, drop her down, bring her around, and straighten her up some. Now you want to take your ear wire, and like I said, it has to face backwards to what you're doing. So you do that, bring it around and slip it in. As you see, when it turns, it goes to the proper direction. So then let's grab these wires where they come together. And wrap this baby up. Well, yes you do. So we'll cut this little extra bit off here and trim it in, or tuck it in I should say. We just trimmed it, we don't need to trim it another time. So there we go. Now we want to make sure we're pretty close. This one needs to bend a little bit. And if you look at this straight on, there we go. I just bent it a little bit to get it more straight to the other. You just, if to do that, just take it and do a little either direction kind of thing. So there's our top finished for this one. Now, let's do the middle one that needs its shield put on. So we will just, this one will take this small one again. So we just put it in, wrap it around, drop it down, bring it around and over. This time we want to leave that gap because we're going to feed in our little shield piece. There we go. We're going to get hold of this with our pliers right here where they come together. Then we'll take our second pair of pliers and wrap this. I think we can do without that last teeny weeny little bit. So we'll cut that off, making sure we don't have anything extra in there. Tuck that. Make sure it's tightened down since we're going to put that next bead on. And it looks pretty straight too. So we'll take and put this together just like we did over here. So we want one of these magma mats. Melon, not quite you, baby. Melon, then this bicone, one of our spacers. And then the jasper. And now, since we're going to put these on with the jump rings, we can wrap this up. But again, since this is going on with a jump ring, if we were going directly onto the piece, we would wrap this direction. But since we're jump ringing it, we want to do the loop like so. So let's get that bend in place. Get this facing you. Then take your pliers, bend it over. Then we want to get our bell making plier. Put the small one in here so they meet right here. Go around, drop her down, bring her around, and make sure she's the lollipop shape. I think she's off by a little, but not enough to be a problem. So then we will wrap this baby up. Looks like this last little bit doesn't want to tuck, so we'll cut that little teeny bit off there. Being careful not to catch our loop at the same time. Now this part sometimes is a little tricky because we're working directly with your tip of your flush cutters, and sometimes it doesn't want to cut up there like that. Okay. Looks like it could tip a little bit this way. So that one is done and ready to be put on to our earring. Which, since I have the jump rings out, we could do now, or we can wait and get them all at once. I think we'll just do it now. Might as well. In the middle hole, and bring her back together. Now this didn't quite come all the way together, so if that happens, grab it like you're still going to open it and work it back and forth just a touch till you feel it scrape. And you have to apply slight, and I mean slight, forward motion when you're doing that. And look, I put it in the wrong hole. It's in hole on where one of the garnets go after all of that. So we're going to have to open this up and move it back to its proper spot. Maybe that's why it didn't close. It was saying, hey, you got me in the wrong spot. So close that time. I felt the scrape. So there is our first one on. And now, since we already have the little garnets already wrapped up, we might as well do those right now too. Well, we don't have them wrapped up. We have them. The beads are on the wire. So there's those two. So now we'll get our small side. Go in with the bigger one at the bottom, smaller one at the top. Go around it, drop it down, and then bring your wire around like so. There we go. Same with the second. Round, down, round some more, straighten her up. Okay, those two are now ready to wrap. So bring those together and we will wrap these two up. So let's trim off this teeny bit of excess right here and tuck that last bit in. It's one of these done. Well, it went a little sideways, see that? So I'm just going to poke my, there it is, straight up and down again. So then we'll grab this one. And wrap it. And it just slid, I felt it. See how it went sideways down along the wire there? We need to straighten that out. So since we haven't hardly done anything, we'll just go back up to the top and pull it up. There we go. No sliding you. Now it wants to go over the top of its other one. This one is going to be a bugger. So let's see what you're doing here. I thought so. Unwind it because it's gone above the other one, but then the other one is down low. Can you see what it did there? So we're going to take this, and like I said, put the pliers in the loop and then push it up. And this is going to take some pushing on both sides because it really sunk down there. So now that we've got that fixed, hopefully, we will see about wrapping it again. Come on, you, stop being difficult. Stop. There we go, ready to cut. One little piece of this design that wants to be a bad baby. Okay, you're tucked in. And let's get these two on. This one's tipped back. There we go. Come on. Now, when you put these in, sometimes they'll catch. That's what that one was doing. It was catching up between the jump ring and the chandelier piece, and it was wanting to stay behind there. So sometimes you have to give it a little room so it can do its thing. there's those pieces on. Now we gotta string up our last two pieces to get those on. So we'll get our head pins out and start putting these together. I don't know about to you, but it always feels good to me when I get these last few beads on. Well, as long as there's no errors in it. There have been a few times when I've made something that I looked down and discovered that I'd either missed a spacer, or I'd put my beads in a slightly wrong direction, and it was like, ugh, what did you do? But I think we're good with these. So anyway, we're going to wrap these up. So put them in the wire, wrap them around, bring them down, pull her over, and even her out. Over, down, around. Now when I say to even it out, it's because when you first do it, see, it's not quite lollipop shaped. So I always bring it back up a little bit to get that lollipop shape back in place. So now that we got that, let's wrap these two babies up so we can put them on and be done with this pair of earrings. Of course, I say it's satisfying when you get those last few beads on. But if you go and look at it and everything's all done, and then you discover you've got an error in it, oh, that's heartbreaking. Last one. Trim it off. Come on, baby, in you go. There we go. Tuck it in. And check for straight. It's a teeny bit crooked. See how it's tipping forward? Just straighten it up there, like so. And now this baby's ready to hook on. So let's get our jump rings out. On she goes. Last piece. And she's done. Come on, you flip where you're supposed to be. So there we go. There's our earrings. All finished. twist up there. Now, as I say, these are long, and to make them shorter, you can do a number of different things. Number one would be to take out this piece and just hook it with the ear wire with a jump ring straight to your chandelier piece here. Another would be, if you didn't mind, just take the shield off down at the bottom here. This is adding quite a bit of space. And lastly, well, not lastly, because the next thing you could do was just to hardwire these onto here so you don't have to have the jump ring. That would take off about 1/8 of an inch. And lastly would be to take out some beads, like, say, take out this bottom bit. Yeah, so there are a lot of options for making these earrings. But that is what I have. So, aren't they pretty? So as you can see, they're quite long. There's definite shoulder dusters. So they're very pretty. Anyway, I think they're very pretty. But as I say, if you wanted them even just like 1/4 to 1/2 inch shorter, you could simply take out this middle bead right here up at the top. And that would definitely take away the space, because all you'd need there is a jump ring to put your ear wire on. So it would take off, at least 1/4 to 1/2 inch. But see, it's about right there. So I think those are pretty. Hope you enjoyed making these with me. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we have been using with the Bargain Bead Box, December box, Earthen Elegance. And I really liked those. Bye-bye.